Hello and welcome. I'm Darren, and today I'm going to start with. So I haven't made any content for the last couple of days. There's a very good reason why, and the reason is Black Myth Wukong. So for me, this game is an absolute banger. I'm not going to tell people to go and buy it. I'm going to say you've probably, if you know it's going to be your type of game, you probably already did. For those of you that haven't, it probably won't be your type of game. For me, so far, incredible. And like I said, it's the reason that I haven't done any content, because I've been so engaged in the game. I just couldn't be asked. I just wanted to play the game. And it's been the first game that I've probably played like that now for a good couple of years. I think probably when I moved to PC, because I wanted to play Tarkov, and Tarkov kind of grabbed me like that. And that was one of those games where I found myself, getting out of bed early, getting on the PC before the kids would wake up to get a good couple of hours in where I could concentrate, where I wasn't being distracted. And this is probably another one of those first games since then. It has completely taken over. Like this weekend, I spent hours each day, and it's an awesome game. It looks awesome. If you like that type of game, it plays awesome. But it is brutal. And I'm not the most skilled player in that type of game. I'm not the best Souls player. I managed to get through the Dark Souls games. Like I've previously said, Elden Ring, I don't know. That game, I don't know why, it just didn't... It just hasn't worked for me. Now, at some point, I might go back and probably try and play it. And maybe this game could be the reason for that, because this game has probably reignited my passion with these type of games, and I needed it. But like I said, it's brutal. This is a game where, like, at the moment, my voice is nearly gone from losing my shit this weekend, screaming. Like, how I didn't put my fist through this monitor is beyond belief, and that is what this game will do to you. Well, it certainly does to me. And yes, I overreact to games. But on the opposite end of the scale, when you finally get that win that you don't think is coming, oh my God, I have finished so many fights where I have thought, I can't do it. And it literally did have me at that point this weekend. I was thinking, what the hell am I supposed to do? And I'm talking about Chapter 4. Chapter 4 has taken part of my life away that I don't think I can get back. Like, there's demons now. For me, it was brutal. Leading up to it, yes, you had your wins and you had your bosses, which you knew that in those type of games, you know that you need to try and figure them out a bit. There's something going to happen. It's not going to be an easy win. You need to learn, the fight that you're in for, the moveset that boss has. You need to get your timings. You need to learn some of that stuff. Sometimes you literally just need to walk in there, take a pounding, just so that you can learn, okay, these are the patterns of this boss. And up until Chapter 4, I don't think I came across a boss that I thought, I'm done. I can't do this. Chapter 4, at one point, I'm literally saying to my kids, do you have any of your friends that play this game? Because I need someone to come around and do this for me, or I'm done. I am not going to get past Chapter 4. And that really irritated me, because I wanted to carry on playing the game. I know what's to come. I've unlocked the blacksmith. Now that has taken this game up a whole new level for me, because graphics is a big deal to me. Gameplay is a big deal to me. And if a game plays really, really well, then graphics aren't as important. If it doesn't play quite as well, then graphics to me become more important. As in, if the gameplay isn't quite there, but it looks phenomenal, then I can kind of still play by it just for the visual experience. Now, the other next thing that always draws me in is character upgrades, but more than that, it's like your unlocks, or in this game, for instance, obviously when you fight your different bosses, you'll get the chance to get materials to build different weapons. So that's a big thing for me. So you can upgrade your weapons, but you can also do it with your armor. So certain bosses will give you certain materials and you'll get a certain armor unlock. And then once you get to the blacksmith, you can then upgrade your armor, and it takes on a different visual appearance when it gets to a higher tier of armor. So they start off at like your basic random, I don't know if it's like a green coloured or blue coloured or whatever it is, and then you get onto like gold, and then you get onto like amber for when it gets to like obviously a higher tier, but the whole armor takes on a different appearance, and stuff like that in games just draws me in. I just want to collect. I want to go and get that stuff. So that has been amazing. But Chapter 4, oh my god. Now, tonight I made it through. I didn't think I was going to. And I think between Saturday and Sunday, the amount of hours I put in, the frustration was off the scale. And I was to the point of my head had gone, and I just couldn't concentrate in the boss fights anymore. I just wanted to get in there and rush through them because I just wanted it done. I wanted it over. And then I went to work today, came home, sat down, a bit more relaxed, a bit more calm, and said to myself, right, we need to do this. And so we did. But what I will say is there are things that I am learning in this game, and it is a game probably like what the Dark Souls games are, where if the game wasn't good, this would put me off. But you do need to watch guides, because I learnt the hard way. There are certain things in this game that I already knew. Whenever you get to the end of chapter boss, there will be something in the game within one of the bosses. Now, it might be a secret boss, it might be a hidden boss, it might be an area unlock, which is a secret area unlock, that you have to follow a certain few kind of either boss kills or a certain few scenarios to unlock a hidden level, and you'll fight a boss in that hidden level and you will gain an item which will help you with the final boss. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to do the final boss without that item, but for someone at my skill level, the chances are very, very slim. So I already knew that was coming, but what I didn't realise was how easily you can lock yourself out of that boss if you do something in the wrong order. And that's what I did, and that's where we're going. So, at this point, I'd kind of given up on what was called the Scorpion Lord boss, because I think I was it felt like I was 50 lives in. So I thought, I'm going to have to give up. There's nothing I can do. This is where I knew that there was a next boss in line, and I kind of hoped that if I got through this boss, that I would, I don't know, maybe gather something in the way of a weapon material, or just by leveling up my character, getting through this boss would possibly somehow help me go back and get through the other one. So this guy is called Duskville, and this is the boss that you gain the I can't remember what it's called. It's a something needle, and that is the item that you need to get through the final chapter boss. I already knew that. I'd kind of seen it in videos. There were a lot of warnings saying if you are struggling chapter 4 with the final boss, you need to get the needle off Duskville. So I thought, you know what, I'll go there first, and then I'll go back to the Scorpion King, because the Scorpion King I knew had a few items that I wanted in the Scorpion Lord, sorry. I knew he had a few items that I wanted in the drop. He had like a flask, and I think he had I can't remember, I think it was an armor piece for I think if I remember rightly, it's like a insect armor piece. So I think in chapter 2 you pick up something, but at this point I was like, fuck, there he is. So he's just turned up in the fucking fight, and I'm like, you can't be serious, because this can only end one way. He's going to die, because I know that I already knew that Duskvale was a 2-phase fight. So I kind of knew which way this was going to go. And I've seen this happen before. This does happen with the rock boss in chapter 2. Now, there's like a turtle rock in the same place. And if you do the turtle rock, it will kill the rock boss, and then you won't be able to do the both of them. So you have to do it in a certain order if you want to kill both, and you want to get both parts. So at this point, I was kind of like, oh shit. So I killed myself in that fight. I stood between them and kind of got enough damage that it killed me. And then I rushed back to the Scorpion Lord, or whatever he's called. Scorpion Lord. So I ran back to the Scorpion Lord. And I'm like, okay, we'll carry on doing the Scorpion Lord. And at this point, he would spawn. But he didn't. And I knew I was screwed. So luckily, through Reddit, I managed to find a little workthrough, which was basically a way to find your save files. The game does automatically save. So I managed to find a way to revert the newest save override back to a previous save. So basically the game would ignore the last autosave, and I could take it back to the autosave previous, which was a little bit scary. I didn't quite know what was going to happen here. It worked, and luckily it took me back. So this is it. This is basically the point where I'm like, okay, I've got no choice. I'm going to have to do this boss. And this boss absolutely destroyed me time and time and time again. This boss is pure evil. I don't have the skills. I was going in it with the wrong head. But once he gets into a rhythm, certainly once you get him down, now there is a phase with this boss, and I think someone said it's around 60%. So once he reaches 60%, or once you've taken 40% of his health bar, he starts to speed up. He starts to add an extra 2 moves onto the end of what would have been a 3-move phase, if that makes sense. So it goes from like a 3-hit combo, he'll push that up to like a 5-hit combo. And it is pure evil. It is so hard to get away from him and get your stamina back. Try and get some health without him coming in again and coming in again. It's just pure evil. And the other problem is he does give you like a poison damage, which will obviously stack and stack. So you have to be careful of that. And you'll probably see it a few times in here, or in those short like little death clips that I just put up, where I end up dying basically because he's taken my health down, and I just don't have the opportunity to take like a poison potion or an anti-poison potion, basically, to stop the poison damage building and basically taking my life. So, I don't know. You can see the timer there. I think it's like 47 minutes. So I spent an hour on him tonight. I don't know how many times he killed me. And this was basically... This was it. This was what I needed. When I finished this, I couldn't hold on to the... and this is what I love. Like, there's no denying it. I love that in these games. The pure hate you have for a game when you can't do it, the frustration. Like, I wanted to smash my monitor, I wanted to throw my joypad across the room, I wanted to smash everything. The moment he dies, and my hands are so... it is really hot here at the minute, so my hands are sweaty, but my hands are like shaking. I'm like, oh my fucking god. Like, my missus and kid are like looking at me like, are you alright? I'm like, I don't know what I've just been through, but it's such a good feeling. The rush of spending... I don't know how many times this guy killed me. Like, it's phenomenal. I did not think that I would do this boss. I honestly didn't think I'd do this boss. And to be fair, this was scruffy. I'd had such better fights against him where I thought, okay, I've got him this time, and somehow I've got him easy. And then he'd just absolutely total me in a combo where no matter what I did, I couldn't get out of it. But, I mean, this was probably the best thing that was working for me. And it kind of just involved getting the monkeys in, getting like the Plock of Many or whatever it's called, and then just trying some sort of threes or immobilize, anything to kind of stun him for a minute and just try and take his health down as much as I possibly could. Absolute nightmare, but that was it. Now, once I'd done him, I returned to Duskvale. That's not an easy fight, but it's definitely not the worst. I probably did that in about 5 or 6 goes once I'd figured out his moveset 2-phase again. And then from there I went to the end of chapter boss, and I think I probably managed to get him done in about... probably about 5 or 6 attempts. It might have even been 4. I needed to get used to his moveset, and then I definitely needed what you get from the Duskvale boss, the needle, because basically he's a 2-phase boss as well, and if you use the needle on his second phase, it stops the phase, so it just cuts it dead and takes it back to how he would be in his first phase. Very much like the wind chime does with the end of chapter 2 boss. As soon as he goes into trying to do the whole phase where he fires up the wind and there's like the tornadoes and stuff like that, if you activate the wind chime, cuts that dead. None of that happens. The second phase almost doesn't happen, and he just carries on as he was. And that's generally how those bosses work, because they generally normally in their first phase, they're not that bad. It's when they go into their second phase that it really heats up. And without them being able to go into their second phase, then it's a complete and utter game changer. So that was him. Fuck me. Oh, I couldn't believe it. I was literally shaking. And like I said, at that point, I'd taken him on. He was done. I'd taken on the others, and it was all good. And then moved on to chapter 4 or chapter 5, which is where I am now. So awesome. Couldn't be happier. and we'll see where this goes. I'm probably not going to do a huge amount of content this week, so I might do a little bit of gameplay of it if I come across something that looks good. But yeah, I'm on to chapter 5, so I'm happy, and that's it. If you liked, give me a like, and I will catch you all in the next one.